Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a matching bracelet to this necklace. So I did a tutorial the other day on this necklace with the floating beads on the gunmetal colored Coreana chain, which is new. I've not had this before. And so there is a little bit more up on the website, and I actually have it on order, so it should be here in the next few days. It shipped out today, but it's supposed to come in 3 to 5 days. So hopefully it will get here in the next few days, but it is gunmetal Coreana chain, and I loved it with these howlite focal from Michaels. So I wanted, Sharon actually asked, one of my subscribers, Sharon, so Sharon, this one's for you, this bracelet's for you. She asked if I would do a bracelet matching, and I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. So that's what we're going to do today. So let me get this out of the way. Alrighty. So I got to looking in my stash, and I had these howlite spacer beads. So this is what I'm going to use for the bracelet because they match this howlite piece on the necklace pretty perfect. I was surprised. I'd forgotten I even had these, and when I saw them I was really excited because I really wanted to make a bracelet, but I wasn't sure. I thought I was just going to have to use the round beads and metal spacers, but these are going to work, I think. So we're going to use these, and I'm going to use these round howlite beads. I got these howlite beads all from Michaels when they had their 70% off, everything 70% off. And then I'm going to use some of these little shell beads because these are all on the necklace. So I'm just basically matching the beads that are here on the necklace with, now I don't have these gunmetal beads right here, so I won't be using those, but I'm using everything else. Let me lay this right here. And I've got these are these spacers right here, and these came from Michaels as well. So I'm going to be using all these beads. Now let me move this. And then I'm going to use this slide clasp right here. So this slides up and down just like this. And I know that these beads only have 2 holes and this has 3 connectors. I'm just going to cut this one off, the center one off. There's no reason that you can't just cut it off. So we're going to do that in a minute. Then you're going to need some crimp beads. I don't have any gunmetal crimp beads, so I'm using silver. And you're going to need 4 clamshell covers. Now, I do have a few of these in gunmetal. They're not on my website. I just had some that someone gave to me. So I am using gunmetal. You could use silver. I do have silver on my website, and I have gunmetal on order. So I will have these on my website. They're coming in the same order as the chain, hopefully. So keep checking back if you're interested in those. And then I've got the gunmetal Coreana chain. Now, if you're not familiar with Coreana chain, it is a beading chain. It is 0.6 millimeters in diameter, so most every bead will fit on it. Now, there are a couple things that won't, like delicas and some really teeny tiny beads, but this is made to bead directly on this chain, and it's pretty. The chain is beautiful, so you don't need to worry. Like tiger tail, you want to cover it up, but this is really pretty. And this is what is available on my website right now. I have it in gunmetal, I have it in rose gold, antique silver, gold, and I will have it in bright silver in a few days. It's coming in the mail as well. Maybe it might come today, I don't know. But anyway, that's up on my site. So this is really, really beautiful chain, and I love it because you can bead directly on it, and you can create these floating bead type things, which I think are really pretty. All right, so you're going to need some chain, and I have a length. I've got a 6-foot length here because that's how I sell it on the site, but I'm obviously not going to be using that much, but I'm just going to be making a bracelet. So get your stuff together. You don't have to have the exact same beads that I do. You can use the same technique. You do need this chain, but you can use the same technique with any beads. So get your stuff together. Come on back, and we will make this bracelet. Okay. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is I have to decide, well, I'm going to cut 2 lengths of it. Now, I want to make it long enough. This set's for me. I'm keeping that necklace. I made it because I wear a lot of black and white, and I didn't really have anything black and white. So the set I'm keeping. So it's going to have to fit my wrist, and my wrist is very small. So I'm going to cut 2 lengths of the chain. I'm going to cut them a little longer than I need them because, I want to be sure that it fits. But just cut the length that you need for your wrist and, cut it a little bit longer just to make sure that you have a little leeway there. And I'm cutting 2 pieces because my spacers have 2 holes. Now I am going to take this clasp. What did I just do? Oh, here they are. And I am going to cut this middle loop off because I'm not going to be using it. And so, I mean, if you have something like this, a clasp like this, and you need to just modify it, then go ahead and do it. You're not bound by what an item is. You can transform things, change them around, move them, do whatever you want to do. Now, if you have a Dremel, it would be a good idea maybe to sand this piece down because you don't want it to scratch anybody. I'm just keeping this for myself, so I'm not really going to worry about it. But if I was going to sell this, I would definitely take my Dremel and sand that down. You can also do that with a fingernail file. That's what we use at work. We just use fingernail files and sand stuff down. So yeah, you can do that too. All right, so I cut that piece off, and I'm just going to put this back together. And see, it's just a two-prong clasp now, which works just fine. Okay, so I've got to decide how I want these to go. Now, I know I want one in the very middle, and I think I'm going to put this one. I'm just going to put it right in the very, very middle of my bracelet, just like this. Now, I want to crimp this, so I'm going to make this like the floating bead necklace that I did. So I want to crimp these things in place that I'm putting on. And the crimp beads I have are probably 2mm, I would say, if I had to guess. I don't really know. When I use this chain, I pick crimp beads that are not huge because you don't want them, you know, too big or they're not going to crimp down tight, but they have to be big enough to fit on your chain. If they'll fit on your chain, they should crimp down okay. I would say these are 2mm, and that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to put them on and crimp them down with my chain nose pliers. I'm not even going to worry about crimp bead covers or doing it with my, crimping pliers. I don't think they work anyway. I'm sorry for those of you that love crimping pliers. I just don't. I don't think they make the crimp look any different than just using my flat pliers here does. So I'm just going to use my pliers, crimp that guy down, just like that. And same thing on the other side. You're just putting the crimp on. Whoops. Just putting the crimp on. Pulling it down. And I leave this laying here so I can kind of judge my distance. So let me get this one the same. So you just want to match them up, match up your ends so that they're even like this. Then I'm just going to hold it, and I'm going to take my crimp bead down here and just crimp it. Okay, just like that. Now, I'm going to crimp the other side as well, and that makes it a little easier. Because that one's already done, you just slide this one on and crimp it. You don't have to worry about getting everything even. So let's put it on here. I will be so glad. Chris is getting me a Velux blanket for Christmas. And I'm going to cut that daggone blanket up and make bead mats. And I'm so excited to get that because this material here, it's from Joann's. It's called Luxe Fleece. And it works okay, but it gets so much fuzz everywhere. And I want like a huge bead mat. I know you can buy bead mats. Please don't tell me to go buy a bead mat. I know you can buy bead mats, but I want a huge bead mat to cover my whole area, and you cannot buy them that big. Now, somebody did tell me there's a place called Ringberries that you can buy larger size ones. So I have not checked them out yet, but thank you for that information. But yeah, I probably need bigger even than what they would make, I'm thinking. So yeah, I'm going to get a Velux blanket and cut it up. Alright, so I'm going to put on some bead caps, and I'm doing them the same as I did on the necklace. So I'm putting these bead caps, or spacers, whatever these are, they're bent kind of, if you can see. And so I'm putting one with the bend down toward the crimp bead, and then this one I'm doing the bend up, and I'm just kind of alternating them for 4 of them. So I'm doing 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, and 1 up. And it just kind of gives it a cool little look, if you can see here on the necklace. It just kind of gives it a cool little layered look right there. I like that. So I'm going to do all 4 strands like this. 1 down. And I do have my glasses on, even though I can't seem to hang on to anything and get it on on the chain today. I don't know why, but I do have my glasses on. Oh my goodness. Down, up, down, and up. And now I'm not going to do the other side right now. I'm going to do one side and then come back to that side. I have some bead bugs I could put on there, but I just don't really want to fool with them right now. So I'm just going to do one side, crimp it off, and then come back and do the other side. I'm going to put on this little shell bead. I love these little shell beads. I think they're so pretty. And they do fit on this chain. Now, if you find one that doesn't, just look for another one, because I used them on the chain the other day, so I know they do. And again, I got these from Michael's. Some of them must have bigger holes than others. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put him right down on there. Do another one. I'm a fan of anything shell, and I thought this white shell was really pretty. And then I'm going to layer the bead caps again the same way that I just did. Down, up, on both strands. So down. Put this one facing up. This one facing down. And this one facing up. Alright, so there's a little section. Now, I want to decide, do I want to scoot this section up a little and crimp it like that, or do I just want to do it down? I think I'm just going to do it down next to the howlite piece right here. So I'm just going to crimp this down, and then I'm going to skip a little space before I start my next section of beads, but this one I'm not going to show any of the chain in the middle. I'm just going to go ahead and crimp this section down close to the other one. It kind of makes it all look like one section right here. Okay, so let's go down. Up. I really wear a ton of black and white, and well, I don't wear a lot of white. I wear a lot of black that I could put white with. Let me say that. I have a couple of white shirts, but not very many. But I wear a lot of black because obviously it's slimming and I need all the help I can get in that department. So I wanted, you know, some jewelry that I could wear with my black and white, and this I thought was really pretty. I saw those howlite pieces, this trapezoid piece on the Michael's sale, and I just thought it was so pretty. So that was kind of my inspiration for this. Okay, now we're going to use some of these little beads. And so I'm going to skip a little section, and then I'm going to put a crimp bead on. So I'm creating the floating effect. And I'm not going to do a huge section because I don't have very big wrist. But I do want to skip, I don't know, just a tiny bit there, just so the chain does the floating effect and matches the necklace. So it's a teeny tiny little bit there that I skipped. And I'm just going to do the same on the other side. Same thing, and just try to get it. I don't measure, I just kind of eyeball it, but it works out. Just get it in the same little area and crimp it down. Okay, so there we have those two. Now I'm going to put some more beads and bead caps on. So I'm going to do the same down, up bead cap layering pattern. And then I'm going to do a howlite bead. And I try to pick the howlite beads out of this. I just ordered a couple of these strands. I'm trying to pick the ones that have a lot of gray in them for this project, just because it matches with the big focal piece. Some of them don't have as much gray, but that's what I'm trying to go for. And then I'm going to do a shell bead. And I don't know, do I want to do that? I think I'm just gonna do the howlite bead and then the bead caps again. I don't know, maybe I am gonna layer it. I'm gonna do the howlite bead. I'm sorry, I'm making design choices as I'm going here. And then the shell bead. I am gonna go ahead and do that. Just going to make a little longer section here. The howlite, another howlite bead. And then the bead caps down, up, down, up. Okay. And then another crimp bead. You know what I did? I forgot I have these other two pieces of this. Okay, so that changes things. I'm going to take this back off. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot about those other two pieces. So I don't want to make that such a big section. So I'm going to do the bead caps down, up on just the howlite bead. I'm not going to use the shell bead there. I'm sorry. I just forgot I had these other pieces, but I do want to use them. Okay, and then I'm going to layer on this piece right here, and then I'm going to crimp. Maybe I'm going to crimp on the other side. Let me see how long this is going to end up being total. So this section right here is right about 2.5, little less than 2.5 inches. This section right here, yeah, right about 2.5. So if I have 2.5 here and 2.5 here, that's going to be 5. And my wrist is like not quite 6.5. So yeah, I'm okay with my, I just want to be sure I was okay with my spacing. So let's go ahead and do this side. Down, up, down. Whoops. These little metal beads came in several different colors. I can't remember which. I got them in like 3 colors. The gunmetal and antique bronze maybe, and maybe silver. I'll have to look and be sure. I can't totally remember, but I thought they were really cool little metal beads. Okay. And there's a ton of them on a strand. Down, and one more of these. And then we'll go ahead and put this through this part. And let me take a look at it. Okay, I think it's really cute. Now, I'm trying to decide what I want to do on this other side. I feel like I need to do that again to make it have some continuity. So I think I will go ahead and do the same pattern past this. Just like this. I don't really want to do the shell bead again. I feel like that would be kind of funny looking. I feel like these need to cap each side of that the same way. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, we're putting in the howlite bead, the 4 more bead caps, and then I'm going to crimp. Down. Okay, now we're going to put a crimp bead on. Just going to crimp it down. When you do this, don't crimp your sections super tight, okay? Give them a little, I mean, you want them to be, you don't want them to be loose, like they're floating really a whole lot, but you don't want them to be stick tight either to where you can't, there's no movement. So give it just a little tiny bit of movement in there. Make sure that it's not stretched so tight that you don't get any movement, because that's going to make things really hard when you go to wear it if it's and it may break. Okay, one more section here, and then I will pause the video while I do the other side so you don't have to sit and watch me do the same thing we just did. That's a pretty one. Let's put that one on there. Down, and one more. Up, and then we'll go ahead and crimp. If I can get it on there, we will. There we go. Alright, crimp it down, and like I said, I let the gravity do the work. I let it flow down to where it normally is going to fall, and then I just kind of bring it up just a tad. I mean, not even, I mean, just a very little bit, but just so it's not stick straight. It has a little movement. Okay, now I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to do the same pattern, this, and this, over on this side, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I've got both ends, or both sides, done here, and this is what we've got. Now, I put this on my wrist, and if I put my lobster claws down here at the very end, I mean, it's going to be pretty close. So I don't think I'm going to put any more beads on it. I think I'm done with the beads. I also ran out of the bead caps. I don't think I have any more. Let me look. If I had some more bead caps, I may stick a few more beads on, but I don't. So that's it for those bead caps. I love those though. I need to get some more from Michael's because I think they're really pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off. So, let me get these out of the way. So I've got 4 crimps and 4 lobster claws. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to evenly space this out. So if you can see, this side is shorter than this side. They need to be the same, and I need to make sure when I put it on that, because see, I'm not sure exactly where I need the lobsters to go. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to measure now. Where's my, okay, so I'm going to measure this side right here. Sorry, I'm trying to reach around that camera arm. Okay, so this one, they're right about, if you get all the way up there to the crimp bead, it's just below 1 inch. So I'm going to cut this side to match that, okay? So I'm going to get right up there to the crimp bead, and I'm going to cut just below 1 inch. Now, if it's not perfect, it's okay. I'm just trying to get it as close as I can get it so that it, when I put the when I put the clam shells on, they'll be in the same, the same length on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that right there. Okay, and I'm going to measure the other side. Well, I can actually just lay it out beside this one and do it. Eyeball that one. Okay. All right, so those are pretty much even on both sides, the length of them. So now what I'm going to do I want to put another bead in here and make this floating? No, because I don't have any more of the bead caps. I'm afraid it would look funny. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my clamshell cover and put it on here. Whoops. Lost my little end there. And I'm going to take the crimp bead and put it on. Now I'm going to scoot this up pretty close to the end, right about here, and crimp that down. Now this crimp bead here is probably a 3 millimeter, and the reason that I did that, I used a bigger one, is because the holes in these clamshells I thought looked pretty big, and I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't slide off of the crimp bead. Okay, then I'm just going to close that up. And there's a little tiny piece of the chain sticking out right there, so let me see if I can trim that off. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to take my clamshell and stick it on here. and drop it, just like I did the last one. At least I'm consistent, right? Okay, and then I'm going to put my crimp bead on. And crimp it down. And I want this bracelet to be kind of tight. I don't want it to be floating all over, so that's why I'm trying to make it pretty exact to my wrist size. I don't want it to be moving around a lot. I'm going to trim that little end off the chain right there. Move this up and close this clamshell. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead on this side and attach the chain onto this. So I need a very small not lobster, but the clasp, not the chain, and I need a very small gunmetal jump ring, which I do have thanks to Beth. She sent me all these tiny little jump rings and I love them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on with a tiny jump ring. And then I'm going to put it on and see if it's going to be super, super loose on me. And if it is, I could always make this side a little shorter. And if I didn't want to do that, if I wanted to make sure it was exactly even on both sides, I could always come in and sacrifice these clam shells and crimp beads and cut it. I don't want to have to do that, but I also want it to fit. And it's kind of hard to judge it when you don't have your clasp on yet, and I'm not very good at that. Some people are really good at judging that. I'm not one of those people. I almost have to put it on to see. Okay, so here's what we've got. So by the time I go to the other side and attach, yeah, see, I mean, it's going to be way long unless I go all the way down at the end. So I hate to do it, but I am going to sacrifice. I know that's awful, but I can't have it that long, and I messed up there. So if you can measure beforehand better than I do, but see, I held it up to me and it looked like it was going to need all that space. So then I was afraid to get it too short, because if you get it too short, then you can't really lengthen it much. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and I hate to waste them. I don't want to do that. I actually could probably reuse the clamshells. I just can't reuse the crimp, which is not such a huge deal. Crimp beads are not that expensive, but I hate to waste anything, but I've got to get it right, so, because I don't want it floating all over my wrist. I don't like loose. Okay, so I can actually open the clamshell back up like this. Let me open him back up. See, just like that. And I am going to have to sacrifice the crimp. Let me open him back up over here. So this is what happens if you mess up, which I do lots. And let me get a couple more crimps out. Yeah, I do. I mess up quite often, actually. And I don't edit it out either. So I know Brittany had this really rude guy comment on her channel the other day. He was like something about she needed to be more organized, and I don't know. It made me really mad because I'm thinking, I wonder how much jewelry he's actually sat down and filmed tutorials for. Probably none. You know, they can just be so rude sometimes. Okay, so let me hold it up to me again. So by the time I put, yeah, I'm going to have to pretty much half both of these. I'm going to go way back and cut this pretty much in half. Okay, I'm going to put the crimp bead on again. Now it gets hard to get the crimp bead on because you don't have much room. You can pick it up with your plier like this if you want to, and just stick it on like that. Crimp it down. Okay. Close your lobster back up. Or I keep calling these lobsters clam back up. It's sea life. That's my problem. I'm like, yeah, it's a sea creature, so lobster, clam, you know, who cares? And I'm doing the same thing here. I'm cutting it pretty much just right in half on this last little bit. Get another crimp on here. Oh my goodness, I can't seem to pick this one up. There we go. He goes right down on the end and gets crimped down. And then we'll pull the clamshell up. So at least I didn't have to sacrifice my clamshells, just the crimp bead. Okay, now we're going to do the same on the other side because I'm pretty sure now it's going to be a pretty good fit. So I'm going to cut that in half. And I guess if I get it too short, I could always add jump ring, you know, an extra jump ring in. That wouldn't be too bad. I'm going to put the clam on. Okay, going to put the crimp on. Mash it down. Bring your clamshell up and close it. Same thing on the other side. Put your clamshell on. Put your crimp on. I have freakishly tiny wrists. It's kind of annoying because you want to be able to put more beads on your bracelet sometimes. Like I would love to have been able to add more of the shell beads on here, but I don't have enough wrist space to do it. There's not enough real estate on my wrist to put any more beads. I guess I could layer. I could make a stretchy bracelet to layer with this. That'd be kind of cute. And use the shell beads. But now I'm out of the bead cap or the metal pieces, so it wouldn't really match as well. Alright, let's go ahead and put the clasp on. Take my jump ring. Oh, come on now. I like these kind of clasps. I feel like they're very secure. I do not like to use magnetic clasps or toggles on bracelets. I just feel like I have lost so many bracelets with a magnetic clasp, and don't tell me to put a chain on it. I've done that too, and I still have lost them. So I don't prefer magnetic clasps. And if you can see, this crimp bead is coming through the bottom of that lobster. That's not good. I knew that they looked big. The holes in the lobsters looked big. Normally I put a little E6000 in there, but Chris took my E6000 downstairs. I may have to redo that again if it doesn't stay. See, it's just for, yeah, it's sliding in and out of that. I knew that that seemed like a really big hole on that lobster. The lobsters I ordered should not be like that. This is just one that I had, but I ordered some for my website. They shouldn't be this way. Okay, well, I'm just gonna, it doesn't seem to want to come all the way out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix it though, and I hope that doesn't make this too short. Let me open this up and see what I can do. Let me pause this so y'all don't have to sit and suffer. Okay guys, sorry about that. I went and got the E6000. I plugged up that little lobster or clamshell, so now nothing is going to come out. And so we're going to just put the clasp on the other end with these little jump rings, which I already had 2 out there. I got 2 more out. And then we'll be done, and we'll put it on, and hopefully it will fit. So just roll it around here because you want to make sure you attach the top to the top and the bottom to the bottom. Otherwise that would be a little twisty on your wrist. And make sure it's laying right. I keep twisting it just like I'm just going to put that one on the top. Close it up. And we're going to put this one on the bottom. And I know you can take this clasp apart and do it, and it seems like it would be easier, but I have done that before, and then I end up with my clasp put together wrong. So I just prefer to leave it together when I'm putting it on here. That way you know you've got everything laying right, and your clasp is on correctly, even if it's kind of a pain to get it on there, like right now. But, you know, I just prefer to do it this way. You can do it however you want. And it is kind of hard, but at least I know what's going on straight and right. Alright, so there it is. We got the whole bracelet put together. And let's open it and see how it looks. If I can clasp it by myself. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And there it is. Oh yeah, I really like this a lot. Now it is a little bit looser than I would have liked, but that's okay. I don't mind if it spins a little. I just didn't want it to be like totally flopping. And I could actually go back in there if I wanted and tighten it. I'm not going to. I think it's fine. But it matches really well with the necklace. Here's the necklace. So yeah, I really like the way this turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The chain is available on my website. I have some up there right now. I don't know how long it will last, but I do have more coming in, and like I said, I have the lobster, not the lobster, the clam shells on order as well. So it should all be here within the next couple of days. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to put it on a form so you can see it. I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is, the necklace and the matching bracelet, and I think they turned out great. I'm really happy with them, and I think I'm gonna love it with my black shirt and jeans. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll give it a try, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!